Alright, everybody. So sorry if you guys have been waiting for a while. It was supposed to start at 2, not 1, and I did not realize I made that mistake. So yeah, sorry. I was actually just like making myself something to eat, and I was like, oh, I wonder if anybody's in the chat already, because a lot of times people get here early, and I go in there, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of people in there. So yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, what's up, everybody? Live stream from the Airstream. This is running off Wi-Fi, which is better than running off cellular, but not quite Ethernet. So hopefully we are able to like hear and see and everything well. So let me know, make sure if there's any issues going through. If you see me looking over here, it's because this is where my laptop is. And it's how I like keep tabs on the chat and so forth, which there's obviously already a good amount in there. I don't know if any of these people are still in here, but it looks like at least at one point Nick was in here. He's one of our moderators. I forgot to tell both Nick and Riley that I was even doing this, so yeah, life's a mess. So yeah, you can see Enzo. He kind of hides in the shadows a little bit. And Lotus, you can see he's watching. Rally is in Catland behind us right now. She's snoozing. So yeah, I just want to do a live stream. I don't know, something to... Haven't done one obviously in a while. I don't know how often going forward I'll be able to do these because of, you know, how much data they use and the requirements. No, we're not getting down. I moved your step. Just stay up here. You're fine. Hey. You don't need to get down. No, come here. No, you don't need to get down. I moved your step. You're fine. You got nowhere to be. We already went to the park, ran around for a good hour. Wow. Okay. Oh, you the star today? Okay, you the live stream star? That's fine. You can be the live stream star. So. Oh, yep, Nick is still in here. And, yeah. I figured I would just kind of give this time to... We could do a little Q&A. Also, to let you guys know that we are officially leaving on our first trip this coming week. I haven't pinned down... I've got some stuff that I have to do up until Wednesday. So, at some point after Wednesday, we're going to leave. Depending on if I have everything done. And one of those things is getting my taxes submitted. But we'll probably leave Thursday, Friday, Saturday, somewhere in that range. And we are going to head south because I am sick and tired of this cold. So we are probably going to make our way down to Florida right now. We're going to be gone for about 2 to 3 weeks before I have to come back for some stuff up here. And then from that point on, I don't know where we're going to go. When I come back up here, it's probably not going to be for super long, maybe just a few days. And I haven't decided what's after that. If by that point we'll be into March. It's probably... No, you don't need to get down and chase the shadows. It's fine. You're fine. You're the one... Oh, it's my watch. Here, I'll take it off. Here, it's gone. No more shadows. See? All gone. Hello. Because I realized I was a little late. I had everything like how I wanted it, and the pups could get up and down just fine. But then like when I sat down and then trying to... So anyways, I had to move the camera, so I ended up having to move their step. So they can't get down unless they want to jump down. Which I would prefer you not to do. No, I don't want to do that. No. Alright, so let's see what we got in the chat here. Let's see. Hello, Rick. Hello, Beautiful Life. Hello, Linda. Hello, Yuki. Hello, Susan, Diana, Stacy, Cheryl, Scout, Kitten, Michelle, Lori. You ready to get out of this cold weather? No, you don't care. You don't care. So anyways, back to the trip thing. You know, the destination is going to be Florida. I don't have a specifics yet. I've got some places that I'm thinking I want to go. The entire trip will be about 2 to 3 weeks. And hey, Lotus, you don't need to get down. You're fine. Jeez, old Pete's pup. I would like to have them see the beach, like the legitimate beach and ocean. I know there are some campsites where you can actually camp on, like right on the water. I would like to do one of those maybe for like a night or two. It'd be a good chance to refill the water and everything. And obviously get them out in the ocean, which I think would be cool. Otherwise, I would like to spend most of our time not at campsites. That's a little bit harder in places like Florida. It's not impossible, but it's a little bit harder. Once we got west, that'll be a whole lot easier. There's much more BLM land and so forth. A lot less restrictions. It's not that hot. I still have some windows open. Jeez, old Pete's. Do I feel ready to travel? Like mentally, I feel ready because I'm just so sick and tired of the cold. Although today is a little bit nicer. I think we're, I don't know, we might have broken into the 40s today. Yep, 46. And it's sunny, so it feels pretty good. Do I feel like I'm ready as far as everything for the travels? I don't know. I'm kind of just at a point though where I need to just get out there and try it and see what I'm going to need or not need, because at this point it's really just kind of a guessing game. And so I'd like to really get out there and do a trial. The other thing I like about Florida, which I didn't mention a minute ago, because I had looked at other places, maybe not as far south, like South Carolina maybe or something, or some places on the southern eastern coast that aren't Florida. But because you have to cut through the mountains to get to all those places, the driving ends up being about the same. And Florida is just straight down 75. And I've driven to Atlanta multiple times. It's such an easy drive. You can basically zone out as long as you pay attention through Knoxville that you don't miss your turn, you're good. So I think that'll be nice to be one less thing that I really have to worry about. What are you doing, goofball? You are 100% in hammy mode. You just ham. Yeah, you just hammy mode. You're going to end up falling off. Let's see. Yeah, the reflections are insane. That's what Lotus, back in the old videos when he's always attacking the driveway, it's the reflection off the camera usually. I don't know what has gotten into Enzo right now. He's just all about it. I don't know. I mean, like I said, we've been to the park. We had a good long run there today. And he's just like, he's in one of those moods where he wants to agitate Lotus to get Lotus to do something. Let's see. Oh, we do have a super chat from Mark. I don't have a way to make the lights flash. I guess I could like bring a hue bulb out here and a lamp, but that seemed a bit excessive. But thank you, Mark. Nitro and Ava say have fun at the beach, pups. Hey, come on now. No. Come on, no. Oh, that's good. Yeah, shake it out on the bed. Great. Enzo, you're agitating. You don't even like Skunky. Oh, gosh. Oh, at least they're always willing to put on a show. But thank you, Mark. As far as car sicks, them getting car sick rich, no, never had any issues with that. You know, we get in the car every day and go places, so that's nothing really new. Thank you for DMing Riley Nick. Maybe he'll show up. What we got? Oh, we got the Audi. I don't know if you guys can see out the window. I don't know if you saw that or not, but because there's a slight delay, so I'm never. Yeah, you saw it. He goes by. He bought that recently. He goes by all the time. Seriously. Do I have any second thoughts on going? I have lots of second thoughts in life right now, Linda. But traveling isn't really one of them. I mean, you know, I think there's a little bit of an uneasiness, but it goes back to the common saying that if you don't feel a little uncomfortable in your life, then you're probably not doing things right. So the fact that it does give me a little bit of fear makes me know that it's probably the right decision. As far as the actual traveling, you know, hooking up, driving, that doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me the most is being somewhere remote and, you know, a breakdown or something like that, which, I mean, statistically, we'll, you know, if something like that happens, you know, we'll just deal with it. Being that I have to worry about the pups and everything, the good thing is, worst comes to worst, I can always detach from the Airstream and drive. So if we actually got in a situation like that where there was a problem, which is also one of the reasons why when we're camping, I'm generally not going to leave the Airstream attached, which you usually wouldn't do that anyways, but I know some people do. Because if something were to happen, medical emergency or something, I want to be able to throw them in the truck and go and not have to prep the Airstream. Oh, we got another super chat from Christine. Thank you, Christine. Hugs and kisses to the boys in Raleigh. Can't wait for the adventures. You and me both. Have we named the Airstream? No, I have not named it. Do they leave me any room to sleep on this bed? So, it's funny. This is a queen bed. Technically, it's a little bit smaller because it's rounded back there. Whereas before, I had a king bed. And the king bed was in the middle of the room. Whereas because this has walls on 3 sides, they were able to get up there and lay against the wall. And it's literally impossible for them to fall off. So they're able to take up every single inch. You know, if this was a normal bed, Lotus right now would be right on the edge. I'd be like, hey, you need to scoot over closer. You're going to fall off or something. I don't have to worry about that. So I actually typically sleep right here on the edge, and they're kind of behind me. So it actually has quite a bit of room. As long as I'm able to get in early on, you know, I have to kind of make sure I get my spot. But I don't really have any issues with them fitting in here. They like to be on the edges anyways because the edges have the windows, and right now the edges are nice and cool. So they like it. I think it feels good for them. Let's see. Are the pups harder to handle in such a small space? No. Because this is where they're at all the time. You know, even when we had the house, if I was in the office, they were in the office. If I was in the living room, they were in the living room. Are there times where it's awkward? Sure. I mean, you know, Enzo will be getting a drink or something and he'll be perpendicular to the flow of traffic. And it's like, I can't get around you, bud. So, I mean, there'll be things like that. I've had to work on my wipe down process where basically if we go to the park and they get really muddy, I get one of them out of the truck first, bring them in, wipe them down good and well, and then go get the other one. So that way, otherwise they're walking in circles and tracking it, and it's a whole nightmare. So, I mean, there's been some learning experiences like that, which is kind of another reason I'm excited to get on the road, so that I can kind of work out some of those as well. It's easy to fall back on the crutch of having a house next door. You know, when we first moved in here, when we'd get back to the park, we'd always go in the garage and do a wipe down. But at some point I was like, you know, we really need to do the wipe downs in the Airstream so I can figure out that process and what that's going to look like. So now we do 99% of everything in the Airstream, so it really hasn't been too big of an issue. I mean, they mostly just lay around during the day. It's not like when we're inside they'd be up doing stuff. I have noticed a slight decrease probably in some toy and roughhouse playing, obviously given the space. And it kind of sucks right now because it's been so cold that we don't go out frequently. It's been cold and wet, so I don't want to go outside because it's so cold and it's wet. So, I mean, there were days where even if they just went out to pee and we're out there for 5 seconds, I'd have to spend 10 minutes wiping them down all the mud. The hope is that once we start traveling to warmer destinations, that we'll be in and out much more frequently. Maybe I'll work outside or something. You know, my hope is that they get to spend a lot more time outside. That's the goal. Where you think you're going, pup? Hey, pup. No, don't need to go nowhere. I got the camera and the wires. We're good. Hey, pup. Why don't you come over here? Come here. Come here, Lotus. Come here. Come here. Or not. Do whatever. Oh, let's see. Scout. I'm hoping that you all come to New York and visit. It would be awesome to meet the pups. So I will say 2 things. One, New York is a place I'm going to come because I have some friends up there. So I do want to go through New York. Plus the whole northeastern New England, all that stuff is just beautiful. It's not going to be one of the first spots because like I said, I don't have all the destinations planned out right now, but none of them involve going north. I don't think it'll be warm. I think that'll be something that later, maybe in the summer or early fall or something. I don't know if we get up that way. The other thing is meeting. I know a lot of you have expressed interest in meeting the pups. And it is something that I would like to accommodate. I haven't quite figured out what that would look like. Because I have to put their safety above and beyond everything. And, you know, Lotus doesn't, that's a lot for them to meet, you know, that's a lot, that can be a lot and stuff. So I don't know what that would entail. It would have to be extremely controlled, and there couldn't be any other pets brought. So it can't ever be a situation where I would like them to meet my dog. That's not going to happen. That can't happen. Lotus would not do well with that. So yeah, I don't know what that's going to look like, but I know a lot of you have expressed interest in that. Let's see. Jack, have you named the truck? No. We just call it Pup Truck 2. Pup Truck version 2, but V2 wouldn't fit, so it's just Pup Truck 2. Gunshine, do you think you'll come as far as Texas? Yeah. Do I think we'll go to Texas? I don't know, but we'll definitely, because I have full plans to go to Oregon, Southern California, Utah. So I have plans to visit a lot of the West Coast. The only states that I know for a fact that I will visit between here and the West Coast, at least in the near future, is Utah, because I have some family that lives there, and whatever states I have to cross through to get to where I'm going. So depending on the time of year, if we end up going out there sooner, where it's still kind of wintry, then we would take the southern route, and that would, I believe, go through Texas. But if it's later in the year where we can take the northern route, we may do that. I don't know. As far as an actual destination, I don't have any specific plans, but that's nothing against Texas. I just don't have specific plans for any states other than the ones I just mentioned. I know there are other places where we will go. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to think about it. Have you found living in the van had brought you closer to the dogs? Nick, I don't know. I was already pretty close. So, I don't know how much closer we could really get, to be honest. I don't know. Susan, do you strap Rally in when she travels? My cat loves the car and concerned about his safety. So I did a video recently where, I think it was the one where I was giving the tour of the Airstream, actually, where me and Rally drove around some. You can check that out. She has basically she gets a harness, and then she sits in this little basket, and she's strapped in, so she can only go so far. She can go far enough to where she can kind of like look out the window a little bit and stuff, but she can't actually make it out of the basket. That's what I do for her, and so far it's working. Yep, Lotus is always guarding the 6 carry. Christine, no, we have not gotten our license plate yet. I lost the temp one somewhere in the travel back from Virginia, probably in the mountains in the snow. Haven't gotten the permanent one yet because I had to get an inspection. And to get an inspection means you have to hook up and actually go get that. So it took me a while to do that. I just got it done, and I'm mailing the paperwork back, what's today, Sunday, so it'll be tomorrow. I'll mail it, and then, so to be honest, I probably won't even have my license plate before I leave. I haven't decided if I'm going to waste time and go get a temp tag or not, or if I'm just going to, you know, just risk it. I mean, if I have plates, I'm registered. It's not like I'm illegal. My plate is missing. Oh, let's see. Sherry, why did we choose an Airstream? This is kind of a loaded question because I know it's going to offend some people, but I chose an Airstream because I think the other ones are crap. I never even shopped at other ones, never even looked at them, nothing. So I really don't have a point of reference. It's just when I see non-Airstreams, they make me depressed because, I don't know, there's just always these beige, bland, boring things with a random stripe that kind of like will twirl down the sides with some sort of name like the Sunset or, I don't know, the Wind Sailor. Some just bizarre name they put on them. And I don't know, those do not look appealing to me in any way, shape, or form. I had never really given thought to RVs or travel trailers or anything like that, but for some reason I always knew what Airstreams, and anytime I ever saw one out in the real world, even though I had no interest in owning anything like that, they always caught my eye and I noticed them. So when I came up with this plan, it was never even a debate. It was either an Airstream or nothing. So that was just what it is. And like I said, not really trying to offend people. Everybody has different taste. I just couldn't do non-Airstreams, even if they are more practical and probably cheaper and everything else. Now, I will say something that does interest me. If it was just me by myself, or if it was me and pups the size of Lotus, or maybe just one pup the size of Lotus, I would totally look into the van style. Those are really cool, and then you don't have to unhitch and do all that sort of stuff. It's a lot less space, sure, but you can do some really cool stuff with that. To be honest, though, a lot of those are probably more expensive than this setup. I mean, they're more expensive than an Airstream, but obviously once you factor in the price of the truck, you know, the truck was high 30s used, and this was, what is this, about 60, so I'm in it for about 100K right now. I'm sure you can get a van for about 100K. it also made more sense to, like I said, with Enzo, a van would just be too small. And with Rally, that's just too much. Even the smaller Airstreams, I actually originally wanted a slightly smaller Airstream. It's just when I walked through them all, I literally started at the smallest and walked in that one, then walked in the next size, and the next size, and the next size, until I got what I thought was the minimum biggest one that I would need to comfortably have them, and that is this. As I've said in some videos already, I already have more storage than I need. If this was me by myself, this is way too much space. I don't need this much space. But with Enzo especially, or if I had 2 pups, if they were both the size of Lotus, you could totally get by with a little bit smaller one. The biggest issue is not the length, it's the width that I found. So that would be the biggest concern, you know. Enzo could be fine in a smaller one, except that when you like get into a 16-foot Airstream, for example, everything's on the sides and the middle shrinks, and that would just be way too small for him to try to like turn around and stuff. Way too awkward. I feel like I went way off topic on that, but it's something that a lot of people ask about. The constant "are we there yet?" Sandra. I don't know. They're used to riding in the car, and we'll stop. I did a random Google Maps to like various parts of Florida, for example, and depending on where you go, it's anywhere from like 10 to 15 hours from top to bottom. We're probably not going to make that in one day. We'll probably end up stopping somewhere. I haven't decided if that's going to be, I mean, it may take 2 days. I don't know. The good thing is we're not on a specific time frame. So it may be something to where we just pull over at a random Walmart or something, spend the night, and then pick up the next day. Or it might be something where, you know, over the next week I discover a place in a state between here and there that I go, oh, you know, maybe we should do a little detour or something. Stop. I don't know. But we'll stop at a bunch of parks and everything along the way. So even if it is a 10-hour drive, for example, there's no way we're going to make it in 10 hours because we're going to stop at least a couple times. Not, well, I mean, more than a couple, but at least a couple good stops where we get out and we do a bunch of exercise, do a full-on park type run and stuff. So my goal is that they're mostly tired and just kind of sleep. Michelle, is Bambi a good size room for you? I kind of just answered that in the last question. I don't know when this chat came through, so if you have another specific question, feel free to ask it. Cheryl, the family, you know, I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I think, you know, parents worry just like any parent would worry, but generally speaking, no. I mean, they're not really worried. Jamie, if you go through California, definitely go through Big Sur. Don't know where that is, but I do know I plan on going up the entire western seaboard, basically, so I'm sure we'll go through all kinds of parts of California. Susan, I can link Raleigh's car carrier. I don't think it's in our Amazon store yet, so let me see. Let's see, that's not it. There it is. 1 second, all. Alright, there is the cat carrier. Wait, is that right? No, that is not the right. Yeah, that was just a random video. Hold on. That did not. Wow. Okay. There we go. That's the cat carrier. Let's see. Questions about traveling through Canada. I would love to go to Canada, mostly because I would love to go to Alaska. It's not going to happen this year, I wouldn't think, because you have to go through customs and everything. So with pups and stuff like and rally, that's a lot to deal with. And I don't know what all the rules and policies are, especially with COVID restrictions and everything. So the short answer is I'm not opposed to Canada, especially to get up to Alaska. But it's not really going to happen anytime soon. Diana, the pups and Raleigh will always ride in the truck. You never want any pet or person or anything to be riding in a travel trailer. That's very, very unsafe. But a question I get all the time. But yeah, you definitely would never want to have any pets or anything traveling back there. No, Linda, I know, or not Linda, Laura, I know you're one of the ones that keeps asking about the meetings. I don't know if you were here a minute ago, Laura, when I was talking about that. You can go back and see that. But no, Dayton is definitely north of where we are, so we will not be going through Dayton. Oh, we finally pass out? About pupping time. Yes, Lotus does. He loves his lookout. It'll be nice once we can like have a view. That's one of the things I like about this setup, though, is that they get up here and just kind of chill. Other than I have to keep my blankets. Basically, I have like my blankets, and then I have a pup blanket on top, which tries to keep as much as possible. And I am going to travel with at least 2 or 3 pup blankets, so that way after every couple days I can take it off. You know, every day I take it off, and assuming it's not raining outside, I take it outside and I shake it. But then every couple days I can take it off and put a fresh one on to help contain that. And then I have, not Ziploc, but they're like the bags where you can suck all the air out of them, so that way I'm not wasting a bunch of space with blankets. Are you just looking out there? The whole world, huh? Let's see, Susan. Will Rally miss outdoor adventures? I'm not sure what you mean. Like, will she go outside with us? She's not going to go on hikes and stuff like that with us, but I have longer training leashes for the pups that I'll snap to her, and she can get out around the Airstream when it's safe. If I, for even an instant, think it's not safe, and never unsupervised, so not going to take any risk whatsoever. In fact, I'll probably have 2. I'll probably have 2 on her. I'll probably have a harness and a collar and double leashes for redundancy in case she wiggles out of one of them somehow. Even though I don't plan to leave her unattended, cats can be a little shifty. You're trying to get up here. I know you are. Come on. Well, come on. She's trying to figure out where she can get up. Come on. No, she's like, forget it. I'll just go over to my bed. Susan, will you be mailing merchandise while you're on the road? So that's actually a good question, because I actually wanted to mention that. So for this first trip, because it's just, you know, a few weeks and everything, I probably won't take any merch with me. However, if somebody orders something, what I will do is print off the labels, not print them, but I'll create the shipping labels and everything, and I'll email them to my dad, who said he'll print them off and ship them. So if you do order a beanie hat, like what I'm wearing, those will go out. I'll probably take the stickers with me, because if people just order stickers alone, although, no, I can't do that, because if somebody orders a beanie and a sticker, then my dad couldn't ship it. So, no, sorry, Dad. I'm just going to make you do it all. So for this first trip, I won't be mailing stuff on the road. I'm just going to have him. But I do want to come up with a solution. It requires me to have a printer, though. And the only printer I have is a color LaserJet, and I don't want to carry that around. I have a small little label printer I wasn't originally going to take, but now I'm kind of thinking maybe I will, because I can't find any smaller portable printers unless you just want to spend a fortune, which I don't necessarily want to do. But that said, a couple things I do plan to do is every time we go to a major destination, I'm going to come up with some sort of unique merch for that spot. Not a lot, maybe just like a handful, maybe like 5 or 10 items. It might be something like a postcard or something unique that you can only get a few of. And I'm also going to do, if you're a Patreon member, we're going to do some kind of like behind the scenes of every destination and stuff. So stuff you get to see. When I'm traveling, most of the time, you're not going to see the videos until, you know, a week or two after we've left that destination. Whereas if you're a Patreon member, you'll actually get to see some behind-the-scenes stuff in real time, like why we're actually there. So I do want to do some extra stuff like that. But yeah, so you can still order merch. It'll still get shipped out. It'll just, for this first trip, it'll get shipped by my dad. And for future trips, I'm going to figure out something to where I can take it with me and ship it. Yeah, still got to work on that a little bit. But yeah, you'll still be able to order stuff. Lotus's anxiety, I don't see who asked it, because my thing refreshed. Oh, there it is again. Scout. He actually has done shockingly well. I think he does, generally anxiety, smaller areas do better because it's less for him to worry about. So he's actually done pretty well. I would even argue that he's better in the Airstream than he ever was at the house, honestly. What music do you listen to while you're driving? I will generally put on a podcast or a book. That is one thing I have to do. I'm out of books, so I have to like come out with a book. But generally, I'll listen to podcasts or interviews or something, just to kind of like relax and stuff. So I don't generally listen to music when I'm like driving on a long road trip like that. Michael asking about their legs. So yes, I am aware that Enzo was doing that in the snow. I'm not quite sure. It is something that we're talking to the vet about. But yeah, that is something that I've been very aware of. It could have just been the snow, because honestly, even Lotus would do it occasionally. So we are doing some things to look into testing and different things. But I'm always watching out for their hips and so forth. So, but thank you. Maria, hello, Enzo and Lotus. Shout for me, please, Teresa and Nika. Nate, I already answered the Canada question, but short answer is not this year. Janet, are you going to give anyone your itinerary or check in from time to time? Don't check in, they'll know to alert authority. So, yes. My parents will know what my location, like through like Find My iPhone and stuff. A couple people like that are going to know my very specific coordinates, but I'm not going to be publishing them to the world for obvious reasons. So that's why I'm pretty vague with you know, Florida right now. Well, partly I'm vague with Florida because I don't know exactly where yet. I've got a few-ish destinations in mind, but I got to do some more research. But yeah, I will be very specific with some people. They'll have locations, and I think I saw it in here somewhere. But somebody mentioned like using AirTag or something. The pups actually have GPS collars, so they'll have that as well. Even though they're trained, they recall, they've never ran away, but just for extra safety, I will have them on GPS collars too. Speaking of extra pup safety, you know, some of the other things I'm doing is I have a harness that is made for both of them. I have two of them. If something were to happen on the trails with either of them, even Enzo, I can wrap him in it and I can put him on my back and carry him. I have first aid kits that will be in the Airstream, but also when we're out and about. The other thing I'm going to do is when I do figure out where I'm staying at. Now, if it's a campsite for the night or something, you know, I mean, it could always be random things, but when I know we're going to go somewhere and we're going to be setting up for a few days and out hiking and exploring, one of the things I'm going to do before we get to that site is I'm going to Google veterinarians, and then I'm going to literally drive to the veterinarians, because in the event of an emergency, I don't want to have to try to think too much about, okay, well, let me Google a veterinarian that's open and find out. I want to know all that ahead of time, have it already saved in my GPS, so that in the event of emergency, I can throw them all in the truck and we can take off to a vet that I've already vetted. No pun intended. And I have all their medical records on digital files with me. So I have taken a decent amount of precautions with that. Michael in Vermont, thanks for answering. Hope everything turns out well. No, thank you for the super chat. All about chickens, you should make a podcast. I kind of got a lot going on in my life that I'm struggling to hold together, so I don't think I'll be taking on any extra avenues, but I appreciate the idea. Yes, Sandra, I have heard good things about New Mexico. Like I said, I'm sure there's lots of places we'll stop, but I really have refrained from doing a lot of research on destinations because I've had so much going on. And because of that, I really don't know. Like I said, the places that I know I'm going to go are because of other reasons, really. Oregon, just because I've always wanted to go there. Utah, because I have family. And Southern California, because I've always wanted to go there. But that's as far as I have on them. I don't have anywhere specific. Well, Utah, I know I'm going to go to Salt Lake because that's where my family lives. And I'm sure we'll go to the Salt Flats because of that. But that really is. I really just haven't taken the time because it's not a trip in the traditional sense. And I think that's kind of confusing for a lot of people to understand, is that when I say like we're going to go out west, we're not necessarily going on a trip that's, oh, we're going here, then here and here. Basically, it's more like, okay, maybe because of some personal reason I need to be back in, I don't know, July or something. So from here until July, we're just going to be kind of roaming the West or something like that. And it's really just going to be, well, we should go here. And then I'll look up some new place. Oh, this looks cool. Let's go here. And it really is kind of just a low stress kind of just is what it is. I'm not opposed to going out of my way to see something cool, but at the same time, I'm not worried about how much I can see necessarily or anything. If we get to a spot and we love it, there are certain rules about how long you can stay at spots, especially out west. You know, they're usually pretty good limits, longer than we could probably sustain off grid. But if we get to a spot and it's like really great and the pups are having a good time, then we may go refill and just pick another spot close by or something. So it really is just kind of go with the flow. Sherry with the super chat. Thank you, Sherry. Did you see my DM on the stickers on the ground that get in the pup's paws? They're vicious. Be careful. I did not. I assume by DM you mean Instagram, and I'm a bit behind on Instagram. I don't think I've checked it today, and I don't think I checked it yesterday. either, because I was out doing stuff all day yesterday, so I'm a bit behind on that. Christine, Susan. Oh, that's first. Okay, they're responding to somebody else. Do you have an Amazon wish list for things that the pups might want? So would do, although I will admit that it is probably a little outdated. So below every video, including this one, there's a pups Amazon store link, and if you click that, that is our affiliate link to Amazon. So it takes you to the pups store, and I've got it divided into sections of things that we use. But if you go to that store first, anytime before you shop on Amazon, no matter what you buy, the pups get a little commission. Doesn't change your price at all. But even if you don't buy something in the pups store, so if you, for example, instead of going to Amazon.com, if you went to the Amazon pup link that's there each time before you went to Amazon, and then typed in search whatever, you know, if you're going there for paper towels and you go to our store first and then search paper towels and then buy paper towels, the pups actually get a little commission for that. It doesn't affect your price. It's nothing crazy, but, you know, every little bit adds up and helps. But to answer your question, there is a wish list in there. I'm just not sure how up-to-date that wish list is. I feel like it probably has toys listed on there, and toys are definitely something we don't need right now. Basically, I have an overflowing toy bin that I keep in the Airstream, and then in my parents' garage right now, I have 2 giant tubs full of extra toys that, despite Enzo's protests, we're probably not going to take with us. But I might cycle them out. Like when we come back in a few weeks, I might cycle some of them out and grab some other ones or something. Will you be staying at national parks, Linda? Sometimes. National park. Well, so I take that back. Maybe, probably not when I can avoid it. So national parks, if you think of national parks like, for example, Yosemite National Park, that's a national park, has a lot of rules around dogs and everything else. It's also very crowded, and Lotus obviously being reactive and everything. Plus, I'm just not looking for crowds and stuff. However, there are thousands of acres of BLM land near Yosemite, for example, that you can stay and do whatever you want. So while I don't necessarily plan to stay in national parks, I do plan to go near national parks. And, you know, for example, sticking with the Yosemite example, I've never been there. So it may be one of those things where I feel like, okay, you know what, it's worth it. Maybe we will stay in the official park for one night or something, just so I can go walk around for a little bit or something. That way, because they'll have hookups, that way I could have the AC running and the pups could stay nice and cool, and I could just go maybe explore for a couple hours by myself. But generally speaking, I'm trying to look for mostly off-grid type stuff so that the pups can just be more free and more relaxed. Yes, Christine, we do have llamas. Scott, yes, I did see the electric Airstream. It is very cool. Polywog plans. You're going to have so much fun on your journey. Our dogs absolutely love to go camping. They get excited when we start the packing up and supplies. Yeah, I think they're going to have a pretty good time. You know, my goal with Lotus especially is get him places where he doesn't feel like he has to be on 24/7 and alert and stuff, where he can kind of relax and just be. You know, Enzo, if it was just Enzo, then yeah, I could stay in more national park areas and stuff because he can deal with that type of anxiety so much better than Lotus can. That's a lot for Lotus, so, you know, it's the same with the beach stuff. I do want, if possible, to stay on a beach for at least a night, but it's nothing that I would do long term because that's just a lot for Lotus to have to contend with. You know, I've seen some of these like RV parks where there's people right next to each other and stuff. That would not be ideal for him at all. Precious, yeah, we have There's at least 4 glow balls in the Airstream right now. I can see 2 of them. Thank you for the super sticker, Susan. Where do the pups go when you're driving around? John, I'm not really sure what you mean by that, when we're driving around. When you are oh, you mean like me, like if I was driving around? So I'm not going to drive around. I'm not going to leave them. You know, when I said if we were to stay at a national park and I was to go, that means that I'm just walking off the Airstream and maybe going and seeing some sights or something like that. I'm never going to hop in the truck and just drive away from them. That's not going to happen. Scott kept dropping him in the water dish. Yeah, that's a classic one. Yes, Sam Lotus is very snuggly right now. He's actually asleep for once, which is rare. Christine, is there a way to send you electric gift? So I've seen a few comments like this, like electric gift cards or household items. Rick was mentioning stuff. You know, I mean, you guys can do that. You really don't need to do that, though. We do have an email that I use. I think it's... I don't use it that often. I mostly just use it for... It's will@buddybigandtall.com. So, I mean, I do have that email address. And we still have the P.O. box, so anything that gets sent, but I really wouldn't stress about it too much, people. I mean, I appreciate it, but, you know, I keep the P.O. box there mostly just so people can, like, mail cards and stuff. Plus, I have to have a return address anyways for mailing merch. So, it's helpful. But, I don't know, maybe I can put some stuff on there if you guys really do want to send stuff, but it's nothing that I'm too concerned about. I know we go through a lot of diaper wipes, and that's about all I can think of off the top of my head. Let's see. How would I bathe them? So the good thing is, Maria, or I'm Teresa, they only get baths a few times a year, so it's not really that big of an issue. I'll probably just set it up to where the few times that we're in town, I'll get them bathed here. They got baths. They got groomed back in December, so they're not due yet. So maybe when we're back in town this spring or something, I'll have them done. I mean, if it happens and we're out there, honestly, I'll just give them a bath. It's not that big of a deal. As long as we're somewhere warm, I'll just put their collars on and attach them to like the rock sliders on the truck so they can't run off from me, and just get the buckets out and give them a bath. It's not that big of a deal. And I have it's actually meant for cars, but I have a little blower dryer, not the big leaf blower, but I have a small one. And I take that to kind of blow out their fur and stuff. Scott, so yes, I did talk about that a lot, but basically Florida is the first stop. As far as the next YouTube videos, Susan, it'll probably be middle of this week, and that'll probably be the last one that I release before we hit the road. I will still release videos while we're on the road, mind you. So it's nothing like that. Don't think that I'm not going to release videos while we're on the road. I just may not be super specific on where we're at until after we've left. You know, after we leave a location, then I may show you a video of, you know, this is exactly where we were in case anybody wants to visit a similar in the future. But I'm not going to show up at a place knowing that we're going to be there for a week and release a video saying where we're at. But I will show you videos of, you know, stuff we're doing and things like that. I'm just not going to be very specific on the location. You know, I may say that we're in Florida, or we're in South Florida, or we're in Utah or Salt Lake, but I'm not going to be like too specific until we leave. I don't know what playology is, Clay, so I'm not sure. Maybe somebody else in the comments knows what that is. Have you changed your cleaning routine with the Airstream, since you probably can't do full buckets of water? Do you mean like wiping down the pups? If that's what you mean, Christine, I actually have a little collapsible bucket that I just put in the sink and put a little bit of water and soap. Ideally, but if I'm taking a shower that day, then I just get it out of the shower before I take a shower and just pre-fill it. And then, so it doesn't really change how I wipe them down much. I'm just super extra conservative with the water. You know, before I used like massive 5-gallon buckets or 7-gallon buckets. Now I have like a really small one that I use. So yeah, not too much has changed on there. I do have a massive drying rack. It's actually a shoe rack. It's like, I don't know, it's probably about like this big. It's meant to hold like 4 levels of shoes, but it's really light and cheap. So I stick it in the shower, and after I wipe them down, I take all their towels and I hang them over it, so that way they can dry pretty quick. And then that way, then I can throw them in a bag. I do have a lot more towels than I ever had before, because I don't, you know, I never know what's going to happen, and I'm not going to wash them and waste water washing them. I'd rather just carry extra, and then when we stop in between places, you know, we'll stop once a week or so at a laundromat, and I'll just take the big bag in and wash them all at once and get them back. Linda, as far as like odors, I mean, they both have like their unique smell. I will say that that is the other reason that I mentioned that I swap this blanket out every couple days, is to help with that. The good thing is, with the area being so small, that even when it's cold and I don't want to, I can open up the windows and put on the exhaust fan, and it basically sucks and recycles all the air real quick, and it doesn't take long to heat it back up in here. So I do that, and then I'll light candles occasionally. So I really haven't had any issues with smelling. If your shepherd is smelling, it probably means that either they've gotten into something, or maybe you're not wiping them down enough. I don't necessarily give them full baths, but when we come back from the park, I don't wipe like all of this. I don't get all this wet unless something happened. You know, I'll run like a damp towel over it, make sure they're okay. But their bellies and their legs and their paws, I'll soak them down if I have to with wet towels and get all that mud and stuff off. Christine, do you still have older stuff or clips you can release? I would love to see some stuff like that. So I am planning to make one kind of video. We've gone to a lot of parks around this area since we've been staying at my parents', and most of it I haven't included any type of video, so I do plan to make kind of like a little video of kind of like stuff you guys have missed, because I've had so much going on. I know, especially in those first few weeks of January, where I was barely releasing a video once a week, I was creating more content than I could ever release in that time, because I was so far behind doing all the Airstream stuff. So I do have some stuff that I've been thinking about doing with it. So yeah, I'll probably release that stuff. Let's see. I think I've got most of them, so I don't know if anybody's got any other questions or anything. I'm not sure how long this has been going on for, but I don't really have like a specific time necessarily, but usually do them for about an hour. So yeah, I don't know if I've missed your questions or something. I'm sorry. You know, you can post them up again. But, you know, today's Sunday, so the good thing is this week is actually supposed to be pretty nice, which I'm psyched about because that means I can do some tests with our generator and stuff that I haven't gotten to do yet. If it turned out it was just going to be really cold, I was just going to be like, oh well, I'll figure it out on the road. But I am going to pick a day and basically run everything off the batteries and the generator and stuff, just to kind of simulate it, and just make sure I understand how all that stuff works. You know, you don't want to be out in the middle of the woods or the forest or something trying to get a cell service so you can watch a YouTube video on how to make a generator work or anything. But yeah. You boys are probably ready for lunch too. Oh, you heard the lunchy bell? Good. Get down some warmer weather. Wash your pup truck because it's a disaster. All right. Gonna keep your hair long. Yeah, I'm not worried about my hair right now. All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and see. Oh, I don't know if a bunch are just randomly coming in or if there was some sort of delay or what, but yeah, if nothing else, Christine, I could always just upload them to like the Patreon or something. I know people say like, oh, just upload the raw footage. That's not really a good idea because while some of you would legitimately like to watch that, most people don't want to watch that. And you end up uploading a video like that and it doesn't do well analytically, so then YouTube kind of punishes you and stuff. So you're really de-incentivized to do stuff like that. So for me to upload just straight raw footage, plus it's multiple clips and everything, so you'd still have to edit it some, put it in the Premiere and edit and, you know, cut it down a little bit. But that could be something potentially maybe I just upload to Patreon or something. So that way it's behind a wall, so it's not affecting my analytics at all. All right, you can say bye, boys. Go say bye-bye. I'll say bye-bye. Don't worry, I'm not leaving. Are you going to get up and say bye? Oh, well, yeah. Get right in the camera. All right, well, I appreciate you guys as usual. Appreciate the super chats. And we will we'll see you. Definitely, if you don't follow us on Instagram, because I'm sure once we hit the road, I will be Instagram storying the crap out of the trip. So get that lippers. So yeah, you can definitely follow along there for like little short stuff in the interim while you're waiting between vlogs. But we'll see you all later.